So what's up, guys? Well, I'm here at the shop and need to make a little intro for this next video. Tell what's going on. You know, when we get to filming this stuff, I don't typically edit videos when we're in the field because I'm working from like when typically start work at 7 in the morning, and it's anywhere from 10 to midnight when I get in. So I don't typically edit videos, and you're just constantly sitting there filming footage, and you don't always, sometimes you forget to explain what you're doing and why you're doing it. In this video here, the first part you're going to see is we go visit Eric Gray down in Elora, the Crop Critic. He blended us up a mixture of starter fertilizer to run on 50 acres worth of crop over there on this high yield plot. So we go down there and pick it up and visit him, and he explains a little bit about the starter fertilizer we're going to be running. And then in the second part of the video, we're going to be doing some tillage and seed bed prep. You saw in the previous video we ripped the ground there, and I'm going to go in here and record some clips and show you on the chalkboard what we're doing and why we're doing it, showing this whole process, because I promised y'all I would bring you along for the whole thing. So first part of the video, visiting the Crop Critic. Second part of the video is us doing seed bed prep, trying to get that perfect seed bed. So I hope y'all enjoy it. I told him not to hit my truck. He's got a bad reputation of hitting stuff.
I won't hit it twice.
Alright, they don't make these tailgates out of nothing no more. She ain't gonna ride in her as good on the way home, Robert. I don't know, it may ride better. It may soften that suspension. That Chevrolet handle it. Don't you worry about that Chevrolet. That's good.
Hey, get home.
He's getting now he's giving us the instructions.
When you get home, crack that vent.
Okay.
Pop that tote. That way that biology can stay alive.
Gotta have oxygen.
Accomplish max.
Okay.
It needs to breathe a little bit.
Wait.
I don't know that you'll see an instant. I mean, I'm sure you might be able to tell it some, but where you're going to see it is when we take it to yield. I'm going to put it to you this way.
We're not gonna say a visual response.
You'll see a visual, but what I'm saying though is when we go to a steakhouse and eat, we order our food, or just like when we cook a hamburger here at the house, we get our hamburger. But the first thing we do is go over there to the refrigerator and we get ketchup, mayonnaise, salt, pepper. Well, corn plant's the same way. You just can't hit the nitrogen and 1034O. You've got to hit boron, zinc, manganese, sulfur, copper, iron. You've got to hit all the bases.
Complete system.
The complete system. I mean, I've never seen a corn plant that's picky. You've got to cover all the bases. And I like to front load everything. But reason being is I like to stay proactive. Because once you get behind, it's...
Well, is it not tricking it to think it can do more than it really can in a way?
Yes. Yes. Here's where I feel like, as a grower, that I can influence yield, and I've said this time and time again. From the time I put this seed in the ground to V5, that's when I can influence yield the most. Or that's, and this might be different for everybody else, but as far as me and my system, that's when I feel I can influence it the most. And then once we pass that stage, you know, it's done determined how many rows around it's going to have. So we're past that stage. So now what we're gonna work on is retaining kernels. How many kernels can we stack on that ear? And you've got to retain that. And you don't never want that corn plant to have a bad day, because when it has a bad day, it's hitting the minus button. That yield's going down, down. And I'm not saying 1 or 2 bushels. I'm talking 10 or 15 bushels. And then next thing you know, you got 180 bushel corn. And that's not what we're striving for here. I'm hoping that he will consistently stay up on 300. The moon, let's shoot for the moon. Because what'll happen is you'll fall short on your goal. You'll get lazy. If you set it at 275, you're going to shoot for 275. Well, I'd rather have a surprise. Bam, there's 300. Well, I'm saying you get lazy in your system because you think you already got 275 captured. Because we all know how easy 275 is.
You go out there and like, man, that corn looks good,
That's
and then
right.
then you just kind of sit back and expect it to.
From that point on, what we're going to focus on is, like I said, we don't want the corn plant to have a bad day, so we're going to focus on stress mitigation. We don't ever want that corn to be stressed, because when it's stressed, you're going backwards, and we don't want it to be stressed. And we'll apply some stress mitigators throughout the year, but we're also going to use fungicides. Fungicides, they relieve some of this hot, dry days we have off that corn plant. It'll actually help. We're gonna start layering this stuff over, and when I say layer it, we don't use the same fungicide every time. We're layering this one over, then we'll swap chemistry and layer over to the next one.
Changing modes of action.
That's right, because what'll happen is, it's just like these pigweeds that we got here. Of course, we got this cotton gin here. So we get everybody's pigweed seed. So, you keep banging it with Ingenia, well, guess what? It's become Ingenia resistant. It's the same way with Roundup resistant ryegrass. We've got some of it here now. I saw some this past spring we got now.
There's some at home that's come back.
And it's a bear. It's a bear. But I don't know. We're gonna give it a shot. It's I have 100% of faith in Dylan.
What about it, Robert?
Pretty nice. Pretty nice.
It don't look like many people's rolled in the buddy seat.
No.
Are we gonna get to meet the Mullet King today, or we gonna be?
He's still in school.
Or are we gonna be gone before I get there?
I'm gonna be gone.
I wanted to meet the Mullet King.
He's gonna
And anybody drive old Dodge like that with some rims on it like that, I want to meet.
Hey, there ain't many 14-year-olds would ask for a 90-something model Dodge truck. I told him, I said, son, I'll buy you whatever you want. And that's what he wanted. So, but I tell you what it does, he gets out here every afternoon and he works on that truck.
Tankers on it. That's good.
That gives him something to do.
That's good.
Right here's a high wire on these freaking planters right here, boy. We've got to replace this next year.
And pins?
Yeah, you see where it's already cutting into it?
Yeah. Well, you got, hell, look how much you got riding on that pin.
Well, look right here. Look right here. These are two-year-old.
And cupping.
And cupping, but this is from the crown of the road, and now all that weight on that. You think the front ones were wire because of 700 gallons hung on them. There's no cupping on those. It's because that planter is so heavy, and the crown of the road is cupping them.
Only on the left-hand side or on both sides?
Both sides on the inside. What a man needs to do is, after we get done planting, put this track on that side, take that track and put on this side.
Do you talc them any?
Yeah. When we first started, we were going way out there, so we talc.
Yeah, I watch on YouTube, he has one.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah, we like the ones on the planter, you only go 20 mile an hour.
he don't go much over.
Yeah. 20 mile an hour is all you can get on them back there. I run it up there one time to see, but I hate to do them that way,
this is the part where we're talking about tillage in this high yield field, and we didn't show it. We got a few clips of disking, and I'll try to include a few clips of disking. But I'm going to put a video card right here in your left hand corner of a video we did explaining our pass we did with the disc and showing you some clips. Put a clip there, and I may try to include them in this video. But we've run that ripper, and I'll just use our inline ripper for example. Alright, we've got these ripper. Here's her ground. And we've got this inline ripper. It's a 6 shank, and the shanks are on 24-inch centers. Alright, this is the ground. And these are on 24-inch centers. And we're ripping at a depth of 12 inches. Typically, in our West Tennessee soils, we have a hard pan anywhere from typically we have a hard pan in here at anywhere from a 2 to 4 inch depth. That's just what we found digging with the shovel. The high yield field over there is a silt loam, and it was down here at this 4 inch depth. In some places it was on down here at 6 inches. Which actually surprised me because we've worked that ground wet before in the past. But what I think has saved us though is it's that silt loam. The high yield plot's 30 minutes away in the pickup. And over here at the our home base at the shop, our hard pans is more up here on this 2 inch mark. But we are here, instead of silt loam, we're more red clay based soils. So if think of pottery, red clay pottery. If you get on it wet, it's just gonna turn to a absolute rock if you get on it too wet. So we try our best to stay off these old red hills too early in the spring and when they're too wet, because they will turn to a rock. But we've run, you can see here, we've worked it down to a 12 inch depth. We've cut through this pan. Now, we got loose soil right through here. But this right here, we still got hard ground in between these shanks here. Well, that's what this disc, we got a disc and it's on 7.5 inch spacings. And these discs have cupped blades like this right here. And they're on 7.5 inch spacing. So, about 3 blades per shank, Well, and here's your alright, there's your disc gang. There's your axle. Here's your cup blades. And what you're doing is we're working this, and I didn't draw it to scale, but let's just move 4 inches right there. We're working this down to about 4 inches. And what it's doing is busting the centers of these ripper shanks. It's loosening this soil that the ripper didn't finish getting it. And we're trying to level off the top of this seed bed, because when you pull that ripper, it kind of brings this ground up, kind of humps it up right here over these ripper shanks. So we're leveling off the top of this seed bed, or chopping up any chunks this ripper pulls up. And what we found is, even though we're working at a 4 inch depth, it is actually loosening this soil even lower than what the disc is running, because this soil can move around these ripper shanks. So what we found by pulling this disc behind this ripper is we're getting a consistent soil density right there. A consistent soil density all the way down to an 8-inch depth. And then you still, these corn roots will go over here and find, if them roots can come down here. Alright, now let's draw a corn plant. And we've seen this with our own eyes already. A lot of our, at this point, all of our corn is up, and we've done some digging. And we're going to bring y'all along and show y'all a lot of this stuff. We're going to make a whole video showing our corn emergence, crop emergence. But we're running these rows, these rippers, the exact same direction on the same lines that we're running our corn planter. And even if, say, alright, here's just an example. The planter didn't line up exactly with the row, but say you just landed in the center. Here's our corn seed. You know, it's going to grow up here. And then it's going to send out roots like this right here. Well, we got, you know, we got a consistent soil density for them roots to come out. Well, these roots are going to go, they're going to grow out here and explore because we don't have a seed trench from our closing wheels. We've destroyed the seed trench, and these roots are going to come over here. They're going to go exploring this soil, and then they're going to find this ripper shank, and they're going to go boom. Deep roots. So that's what we're trying to do with the disc. We're just wanting to get this a consistent soil density, where we want this to be a consistent soil density where these roots can go out and explore all, you know, with this seed trench. If you make a seed trench right here, you're limiting them roots to like a 4-inch zone. We want these roots to go out there and be able to explore this entire soil profile. Go out searching for nutrients, water, everything. And we want these roots to go down there, be able to go deep where they can suck up moisture from down deeper in the soil. You know, in case we ever get in a drought situation, which we was in last year. So I kind of wish we had run this program some last year, but deep roots, trying to create the perfect seed bed. And after we do all that, we're going to bring the scratcher do-all. And for all y'all northerners, a scratcher do-all is it's like a soil conditioner. I drew a do-all 100 times as a kid. Get down there. Right. You got 2 ranks of shanks. Come on. You got 2 ranks of shanks right there. Danish tine shanks. You know, they're going through here. They're leveling off the surface. They're busting up a few clods. And then you got a chopper here. They're chopping up any clods that the disc would make. And then you got a harrow back here. And it's busting up clods and leveling off the surface of the ground. And that's providing a firming action back to the top. You'd want to firm it up because you don't want your planter sinking down deep in the ground. You do need to firm it back up. And then we're coming back with a tool called a Phoenix harrow. And the Phoenix harrow is doing 2 things. That do-all, we don't run drag boards on the back of our do-all because of residue issues, but it'll kind of leave the soil surface, that harrow will kind of leave the soil surface like that. It's not rough, but it kind of leaves it. And then that Phoenix harrow is going to drag the top of this off. It's going to bust up a few more clods, firm it up a little more, and it's going to be just perfectly level. And that planter's going to come along here. Here's your row cleaners. There's your gauge wheel. There's your closing wheels. Planter unit. That planter's just going to sit up there on a tabletop slick surface. We're going to set a Coca-Cola up there on top of that unit, and it's going to ride from one end to the other. Never bounce off. And if you don't believe me, just tune in to part 3 and I'll show you. I done burnt a little less than half a tank of fuel, but hard as that old tractor's working, I may need to check my DEF fluid. Check old DEF fluid. Oh yeah, she's full, good to go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Hello. We are out here. We are shooting for 300 bushel. Gonna use the Crop Critic's method of growing corn. See if we can make 300 bushels out here. That's the goal. Eric says we can do it, so maybe we will. But we're out here. Dylan is running the do-all. I've been running the disc. We came out here, I don't know, 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon on May 1st. Yep, May 1st. Ripped it. Dylan was on the V-ripper. I was on the inline ripper, and we on this particular field, the backfield here, I started on one side the field and was working my way to the middle, and he started on the other side and worked his way to the middle, and we just met in the middle. But on the middle field here, since I have that auto steer and both rippers are both 12 foot, I would just set my AB line and just skip every other pass, and Dylan would come in and fill the middles. But what we're trying to do here is create a perfect seed bed for the corn to grow through. So what we got here is it's a little cloddy, I know that, but we're gonna bring the Phoenix Hera out here and run it one more time. We done some work to the Phoenix Hera, flipped the chains around aggressive, tightened them up. We tried it on 7 acres over there at the house, and it done a beautiful job. So we're gonna come out here, and I don't know if you can see it, but that do-all's got ridges. I mean, it ain't ridging, it's just from where the Hera runs. But that Phoenix will eliminate that, and that should be, the ground should be tabletop flat. So nice and smooth, give the planter a nice smooth seedbed to ride on. No inconsistencies, and should have a consistent 2-inch depth. And as you can see, that ground is nice and loose and mellow. Compaction should not be a factor out here, hopefully. But you get you a cool shot of the 4640 or 4650. These two tractors right here have had a workout. Put that new Hera or a new chopper on it. Plans are we're going to replace the chopper blades on the wings too. can't see them choppers and all you can see is dirt, that's how you know that do-off's doing good. But just give you a difference here between where he's run and where he hasn't. Right line. The disc keeps it, kind of fluffs it up, and you got them big claws. What the do-off does is come in, chops up them claws, firms it down. And what we're hoping with the Phoenix Harrow is it's just going to slick it off, make it smooth, and hopefully bust up them claws a little bit more. But something we're going to try this year, and I saw it on a YouTube channel, Border View Farms. I watch his channel a lot, but it's called the Pop Can Challenge. And what it is you set a soda can on your planter hopper and see if you can make it from one end of the field to another without it falling off. And the theory behind that is if it falls off, you're going too fast or your ground's too rough. And he made it. He made it all the way to the end without his falling off. So we're going to try that tomorrow, the Pop Can Challenge, and just see how good our planter is doing, which I think it will do a lot better job, because we found a screwdriver on it from where we was working on it, putting them parallel arms on. We found a screwdriver like 30 acres in, still sitting on the planter bar, so that tells you right there it's doing a riding good. But we're going to try that tomorrow. Going to try the Pop Can Challenge. So get y'all one more good shot. I'm going to jump across the ditch, work on that 32, 34 acres, something like that. We're going to try a couple of different trials out here. One is our starter blend, and then one is Eric's starter blend. We went and visited him last week, and he gave us some stuff to try. So we're going to try our starter blend versus his starter blend and see if there's any differences or not. A lot of exciting things happening, so maybe the good Lord will bless us with some rain and some good growing conditions. It's been kind of cool lately, and the old ground's just kind of cool and cold, and it's not really warming up, but hopefully it'll warm up on here and not get as hot as last year, but we'll get some good growing conditions and maybe make that 300 bushels. But get y'all a couple more good shots, and then I'm gonna get back to work. So me and Dylan have been debating tillage tools. We like the Phoenix, we like the do-all, and we like the disc, but you need to run the disc first before you run the do-all, because the do-all just does a lot better job. It's not meant to be a single pass tillage tool. It's meant to be a finishing tool. That's what it was designed for. And the Phoenix has its spots and does good at drying out some wetter nature ground and does good on our springy ground. But we need something in the disc that just just works it too much. So we're wanting something that'll work it 2 inches deep and just do it in a single pass. I'm wanting a turbo till. I've been wanting one for a long time. Dylan just wants to get a double basket crumbler for the disc. So, what's your guys' thoughts? What's a good tillage tool, single pass tillage tool that'll work that ground, 2 to 3 inches deep? So, give us your guys' comments down below and your opinions, what you think would be a good tillage tool. I really want to turbo till something awful. I've been wanting one for a long time, but they are expensive. Especially when you get into them, smaller ones, the ones that we could pull, them 18 to 22 foots. But, or I'd take a case turbo till. Just, but give us your guys' thoughts and opinions. Go-go juice in the morning.
Well, I better talk to you one last time before it gets dark on us. We smoothing and slicking this down, getting her looking all pretty. Got my outback going here. Need to go to the right a little bit. That means I'm perfectly on line. One of the first GPS systems that ever had a screen on it right there. It's an Outback 360. Still a pretty decent screen. We used to use it a lot when we were side dressing corn with the 4650 on the nitrogen bar. We used it to keep up with our acres and such. But like right now, it ain't that critical. But earlier in the day when that sun went back behind them trees, you could see perfectly going this way, but coming back you couldn't see anything, so I relied on the GPS to keep me online there. I am hoping old Santa Claus brings me an easy steer for the 4650 this year. Driving that other tractor, we used to never have it in the tillage tractor, but driving that other tractor with the easy steers kind of spoiled me. I forgot what it's like to steer a tractor all day. I know that's the least, if that's the only problem I've had today, then that is a good problem to have. I'm not complaining a bit, but once you get used to that auto steer, it's hard to go back. We'll hit them again in the morning with the Phoenix iron. And maybe it'll be late tomorrow afternoon if I get over here and start planting. Got 13 acres at the house I can plant. It should be dry enough. And I need to get planted before we come over here. And then I got 8 at the Trenton Industrial Farm. If I can get this, there's 24 over there and 75 four farms right here are of the utmost importance. They're the ones I'm worried about. They're the ones I want to get in the ground. But I'll quit yabbering. We're just working this down, trying to make the perfect seed bed. I'll tell you more about that in the morning. But until then, I'll let y'all watch what kind of job the do-all's doing back there. Riding over the top of them choppers, that's when you know you're doing something. Because that means some of them clods you're getting a hit twice. You just don't want it to start hopping on you. If it starts hopping on you, you gotta slow it down, don't you? Start washboarding your ground. Ask our buddy Jerry about washboarding some ground. It ain't fun, is it, Jerry? Everybody gives you grief about it all year long. This is what it's all about right here. This is the whole reason I want